You know what's happening right now? Millions of men are walking away from dating completely. It's not because they're lazy, it's not because they're losers, but it's because the game has fundamentally changed and nobody's talking about the real reasons why. I'm going to tell you something that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable, but by the end of this video, you're going to understand why so many men are choosing to sit on the sidelines. Now, look, I get it. A lot of you guys are exhausted, and you've probably been told, like same old stuff of like just be yourself, just work on yourself, or just to be more confident. And all those things seem not to work. Why? Because they lack specific details and specific context. So, you probably downloaded the apps. You probably done like hundreds of messaging, and even went on. Probably a lot of you guys even went on a few dates, and it still went nowhere. And you're sitting to yourself, what the hell is the point? Well, guess what? Welcome back to my channel where we discuss the hardcore dating truths. And my name is Daquan, and I'm going to help navigate through the chaos of relationships in the 21st century. Today, we're going to break down the real reasons why men give up on dating and why they're telling themselves, most importantly, I guess others, why they're just taking a break or like why you just end up self sabotaging. Because here's the thing, a lot of people have completely given up, and I get it. It's valid to take breaks, but at the end of the day, you still need to face this real world issue. So let's start with the facts, right? According to research, they say nearly 63% of men under the age of 30 are single and have given up. And there's a growing number that aren't even trying to date anymore. So this isn't just like a few guys. 63% is enough to cause a cultural massive shift. And guess what? Some people are saying women won, guys can't handle it. But that's not the truth. Women don't win if this occurs. Women end up being sad and lonely too. Because guess what, guys? You deserve to win. You deserve to have the wife, to have your future kids, to be happy. And if you give up, that can't happen. So in this video, I'm gonna go over few things, few identities that people like go through of what's causing them to give up. And if that's you, just self-identify yourself. And in the link below, I'll share how you can get out of that. Um, so with that being said, uh, man, I'm going to give you a few things that you tell yourself like that are cop out versions, so that you can understand if this is you, if this is a friend, so you don't have to do this anymore. And I'll give you a few solutions. So, number one, the excuse or the dating apps are impossible. The cop out thinking is you're thinking you swiped hundreds of times, you've got maybe 5 matches, and you're starting to feel like the dating app is rigged, and you're like, why should you even continue to torture yourself? Partially that is kind of true because there's like a select version, a select few of guys that are like raking in the top percentage of women, and it kind of feels like you're screaming to avoid sometimes, but that's not fully the truth. That's only half the story, and a lot of times it's not actually the dating apps. It's just your strategy. Tell me one thing you could just start doing in your life without actually knowing what you're doing or having a strategy, or just following somebody who's been consistently good at it without getting success or results. Exactly. You can't, because nothing works like that. And dating apps are still relatively new. So if you don't have an actual strategy of how you're going to do it, you're going to fail in the short term and in the long term. So that's a lot of times why you end up just feeling like you're just spinning your wheels. Um, Excuse number two, saying women have, I hate this one too, by the way, because it's just not true. They say women have unrealistic standards. Now, objectively, it is true. Every woman wants a guy who's 6 feet tall, makes six figures, six pack abs, luxury car, and have 6 inches of you know what. But you think you're just a normal guy with a job, you can't compare to any of that. And yeah, according to social media, that's what they say that women want. But in reality, when we get to talk to women, they all don't want the same thing. In general, sure, it'll be nice to have every guy that wins everything, but that's just not the reality. There's some women that actually are down to earth and they're not are just obsessed with the status symbols. And those are the women that are still waiting for the guys who are sitting on the sidelines to wake up and get it together to start actually dating so they can find the one they're supposed to be with. But here's what you're not acknowledging also. that women posting that if you're under 6 feet, swipe left on her profile. She's the only person. So just keep that in mind while you're swiping. Really, reason number three, I hate this one too, is that you think dating is too expensive. Guys, come on. You saying things like how you supposed to pay for these dates, these clothes, these cars, these fancy restaurants. Um, Meanwhile, she just sits there and just shows up pretty, as if you feel like you're an ATM or like I don't know, like a investment machine. As if you feel like you're like an ATM or an investment machine. In reality, dating is as expensive as you want it to be. Yeah, there's some like underlying expectations and like some you managing the expenses or the dynamics of the relationship that men should pay for everything. And I get it, that could be frustrating when you're going to date multiple women and have it lead to nowhere. But at the end of the day, women date as if they're shopping and men date as if they're interviewing. And that's something I heard from a therapist or a psychologist that I actually agree with. So if you're the one going out spending hundreds of dollars on first dates, that's your problem. That's something you did. Nobody told you to do that. And of course, you don't have to go on the opposite end of like low investment dates, like taking women to like Starbucks and stuff like that, and just spending $20 on a meal. At the end of the day, it comes down to skill, attractiveness, and you showing up as how you actually are in a great way, in an attractive manner. You have to learn how to deal with people. You have to learn how to deal with yourself. You have to learn what your version of attraction is. That's something everybody has to work on. And you can't skip those steps. And that's one of the things that you probably skipped out on before coming to this video that we can absolutely change. So, what's the uncomfortable truth? The uncomfortable truth is that you're giving yourself excuses to each scenario. You're saying that you need money to feel more adequate. You're saying that you're just not lucky because other guys don't have it like you. You're feeling like money should buy chemistry, and brother. Even for the ones that money buy chemistry for, they end up spending even more than you did. So trust me when I say you're not in a bad seat. You're actually in a good one. So that's reason number three. Reason number four is something that hits home for me very personally, and it's dating. I want to give up on dating because it hurts so bad, and I'm done with trying. You've probably been cheated on. You've been rejected one too many times. You've had a bad heartbreak. You've had women that just waste your time and energy, or even worse, you got ghosted. And you said you'd rather protect your peace versus getting it destroyed. And this one really hits me deep because I know what it's like to feel a heartbreak. I know what it's like to feel betrayal. We've all been there. It sucks, and there's honestly no better feeling than rebuilding yourself up, repairing what was broke, and doing it again and actually achieving it this time. Because being broke, being hurt, isn't your identity. It's not a permanent thing that just drops off you and becomes loss. It's just a temporary stage in your growth, and that's how you have to look at it as. Because every time you're betrayed or your heart gets broken, you turn into this over time, this impenetrable fortress that cannot be messed with. Your peace is worth protecting. You know how to be vulnerable without hiding things, and your dating experience could come more deep, without having to involve too much risk of not being loved. Because that's the only risk, to not be loved. And learning how to vulnerably connect with others is a skill set we all come here for, that we actually all crave deep to yearn. So this really hits home for me and a lot of people, because when you don't learn how to do these things, you're only imprisoning yourself, and you're going to end up lonely if you don't fix these things now. So what's the uncomfortable truth? Dating requires healing, and you removing the false reasons you gave rejection in the past, and it takes time for you to become willing to risk and try again, to be better with your own boundaries, to be better with judgment, to recover from that 6 month break you took before. Why? Not because you're lazy, but because you're healthy, and to come back hitting stronger than ever. And that's just how it is in life. You fail a business doesn't mean you become a corporate slave. You just try it again until it works, because this is your reality. And guess what giving up actually feels like? It's fear disguised as wisdom. You feel like you're being smart because you're avoiding the pain, but the pain is what's going to make you strong again. So there's no way to avoid intimacy. That's just you filling the void with loneliness. And guess what, guys? We can change that. The next thing is actually a huge excuse I feel like majority of men fall into, which is the I need to focus on myself right now. and I'm building my career. I'm hitting the gym. I'm building a business. I'm in a self improvement era. Um, and once you become the best version of yourself, you'll be ready to date. Um, nope, that's wrong again. Because a lot of guys find their women on the journey, and you're not the one to choose when you find the right girl. Because self improvement is essential. Honestly, is inevitable. So working on yourself is always gonna happen. You're always gonna be in that stage. It's a non-negotiable of life. Building your career, building your body, uh, the skills, all those things that matter are gonna come over a period of time. It's not just a block of life you're just focusing on. Um, it's just a segment that you want to grow all together. And guess what the uncomfortable truth is? Yep, that's just you avoiding the discomfort of putting yourself out there. You're using self improvement as an excuse to procrastinate on dating because it feels harder than going to the gym or working on a business or making money. And that's not what you really want to do. So, what is a specific milestone you want to be ready for? When it comes to dating, if you can't answer that question, you're stalling. In any area of your life, if you can't answer that question, you're stalling. If your answer is when I'm perfect, you're stalling. Because perfect never comes. The best version of yourself is always a moving target. You can work on yourself and date at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. The truth is, dating actually accelerates your growth. Yes, it does accelerate your growth. It forces you to develop social skills, emotional intelligence, confidence, resilience, how to people manage, all the things that building a business or the gym can't teach you on their own. If you're generally working on yourself and defining in defined period with a specific amount of goal, that's great. But if focusing on yourself has to become an indefinite excuse to avoid women entirely, you're only lying to yourself, brother. So that's pretty much like the major cop outs. And those are the pitfalls that today's men are actually falling into that you want to start getting out of and start living the life you really deserve. So here's the overall recap. Here's what nobody's telling you. Here's what nobody wants to tell you. Giving up on dating is giving up on the most fundamental human experience there is: connection, intimacy, partnership, love. All those things won't happen for you. And those are one of the best things we can experience as humans. And yeah, I get it. Modern dating is harder than it's ever been. Yeah, some of the apps are broken. And yeah, some women do actually have very unrealistic standards. I've seen those videos too. And yeah, you might get hurt. But so is life, bro. You're just gonna sit inside and be in a bubble all day like Bubble Boy? Fuck no. You're better than that. But guess what else is the truth? There are still millions of good women out there looking for good men. Women who are tired of playing the games, women who would value you if you just gave them the chance and opened your mouth. There's women who are also scared and confused and also exhausted by the modern dating. And when you give up entirely, you're not just protecting yourself from bad women. You're also blocking yourself from the good ones too. And here's the thing that's gonna like sting. All right. While you're taking a break, life is going by. You're getting older. Social circle is getting smaller. The Your married friends are starting to have kids, and every year you spend isolated makes it harder to come back, but it doesn't make it impossible. The only path forward is the solution, right? Get back out there, get rid of this negatively nonsense, and start moving forward with a framework in dating that's going to work for you. So first things first, I'd say just be honest in what like category of life you're in. Are you healing? Are you improving? Are you looking to get back out there? Are you scared? Are you worried? Just come to terms with those things. Secondly, if you need to take a break, make it a strategic break. Set a timeline, set goals. Just like with weight loss. If you're trying to lose weight, 20 pounds in 3 months. If you have social anxiety, get rid of it in 60 days. Our program that does so. There's a lot of programs out there. Mine is the best, of course. And just take action and do it. You want to like work focus on getting rid of social anxiety, go to an event a week. That's a plan, right? Start with that. Just don't ever feel like you have to give up on women completely. That's like giving up on a whole entire era of life. And also, don't forget, like, diversify your approach. Everything's not just about the apps. Go out and meet women in person, right? Split up how you're meeting women. Fourth, work on yourself and date simultaneously. So the guy that got rejected a week ago isn't the guy you are today or next week. You're always getting better and better, so your pool of women actually starts to increase. And fifth is to protect yourself without being completely closed off. Set boundaries, screen better for better women, move fast, move better, wider, but slower, you know? And my final thoughts is, look, guys, I'm not here to shame you for being tired or being exhausted for dating. There's days where I took a break too, right? I took a break from dating plenty of times. And the game has changed. It's quote unquote seems very disadvantageous for men. And there's frustrations. But guess what? There's payoffs too. And I'm saying that because at the end of the day, not every rich, tall man wins the woman at the end of the day. And there's only a certain amount of rich, tall men. There's more women than rich, tall men there is. So there's always going to be left for some for you. No matter how weak or fragile you think you are, you're probably a lot stronger than you are. You have to give yourself more credit. So as long as you try and don't quit on yourself, other people won't do the same, and you can end up with the girl you want and deserve to be with. See you in the next one. Click the link below.